Hey, peace, everybody. Sorry for that little bit of delay. I wasn't sure if the sound was on. And I'm going to go to my Instagram, folks, real quick. But hey, peace, everybody on Instagram. I'm turning the camera around. My show, Disruptive Chaos, is back Wednesdays at 8 at Black Liberation Media. And my guest tonight will be Chairman Fred Hampton. Yes, I'm going to turn it around because every time we try to do Instagram Live, the whole thing breaks down. So I also encourage everybody to please go to Black Liberation Media on YouTube and support our channel, keep it growing. And I welcome any donations so I could keep bringing incredible guests like Chairman Fred Hampton and being on air a lot more. There's so many things to talk about. All right. Hey, peace, everybody out there. Oh, greetings, brother. Assalamu alaikum to you too. So listen, fam, I haven't been on. I'm a little rusty, but hey, first and foremost, grateful to be part of Black Liberation Media. Um, yeah, and there's so many things happening in the world. My guest tonight is Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. He's going to be on with us, but just real quick. See, this is what happens when you're like hella broke. And then I think back to my analog days when we didn't have any of this and we still made something happen. So somebody right now is going to be like, where's the video? Why didn't you put it in the intro video? And I don't know. And I'll figure it out. But I'm going to go old school because just for a minute, um, yeah, a quick minute. Hold on real quick, fam. Because everybody in New York right now, this is how we're feeling. You all know that beat. People listening know it. That's Shook One's part one, which I'm looking for the other Shook Ones. Let's just roll right now because the Knicks are about to get bodied. Let's go, New York! Come on. Let's go. We're just coming on right now. All the things happening real quick. So, fam. Some people saying that they can't hear, right? Okay, so can you all hear me now? It could have been because I was playing off Spotify. I know Instagram people could hear me, right? Okay, my sound is up, my mic is working. Chairman Fred is here. Okay. Is the peace sign like, okay, that's what it was. You know what it is? Sometimes even on Spotify, they start masking. So basically, fam, it's the Knicks right now. Wu-Tang's going to perform at halftime. There are a lot of other New York songs, but really, Shook Ones, part 2. Let's go. Let's body them and let's win this in 5. And that's what we're about to do. So, peace, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm back Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Please subscribe to Black Liberation Media. Follow me on Instagram. My Instagram following is beautiful. I always tell them, some people like it this way, like some old school analog way of doing that. But also, everybody on Instagram, please keep subscribing to Black Liberation Media on YouTube. The shows are incredible. Like, listen. Woo, we in some, let me tell you how crazy the times are right now, real quick. But shout out Jose Alvarado, Boricua from Brooklyn, and Cat Carl Anthony Down. We got 2 Afro-Dominican and Afro-Puerto Rican that will be wearing a ring in 2 days. So again, other people would have played some other New York City songs. I'm more like, you're grimy, get out. We need to destroy you. What Victor W. did is he overplayed his hand and the refs were whack. But yo, you fucked with the wrong people. Like, it's already being shut down. You know what I'm saying? So like, this is where we're at right now. Oh, I'm about to bring on Chairman Fred real quick. So let's go Knicks, man. By the time I finish this, I'm going to see Wu-Tang. They're going to do everything, and we need to destroy them. And then we need to go to the craziest state, go to Texas, and have the Knicks win. And the Knicks need to get the fuck out of Texas real fast, because yesterday in Texas, I don't know how many people have been following the Carmelo Anthony, not Carmelo Anthony of the Knicks, Carmelo Anthony, a younger brother from Texas. And the case was making headlines, you know, and as usual in Texas, in 2026, an all-white jury convicted him of murder within 3 hours and sentenced him to 35 years in jail, right? What has disturbed me is the kind of number of like this kind of hip-hop generation, Black Latino men who haven't grown when it comes to their politics around women and hip hop as a culture, are the ones basically, like, I have never seen so many people I know be like, that's what happens. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That he defended himself? That's what happens? And I'm just like, I don't know. Like, that young man will not survive 35 years. Because it's Texas and they got a way of getting their own form of justice, which usually would have been lynching or disappearing a Black man, but now they killed them when they're in prison. He's 17, facing 30, has 35 years, okay? Everyone needs to think about that. I encourage you, and it's bias in me because I'm part of Black Lives Matter Grassroots, follow Black Lives Matter Grassroots. Baba Keel, an elder, beautiful, along with Dr. Melina Abdullah, have been on the ground. They were there yesterday. GoFundMe just snatched off the GoFundMe and are refusing to give his family the money. His mother spoke out briefly, super strong. There's vigils happening in every country. And if you're going to be that person that's like, maybe he should have, then I would say, maybe you should shut up, because you don't understand this country. And people are not understanding the animosity right now that is happening, particularly in this last couple of months, to Black men. So we got this young brother, Carmelo Anthony. Then we got one of the dopest union organizers, the only one to actually have fought and got an Amazon labor union, Chris Smalls, during COVID. He demanded things for his workers. They didn't get them. He got fired. He became a labor organizer. I tell him, I'm like, you already organizing. You just might have not known it, right? Kind of thing. So if it wasn't for Chris Smalls, I think Black and Latino people in this country who had already been shunned and pissed off with some of these unions, right, would not understand not a union, but labor in our bodies. And Chris brought that. He went to Gaza twice on a flotilla. He went to Cuba on the flotilla. And last week, the Jacobin magazine, which is kind of newsletter, which is considered the most like read socialist magazine newsletter. I used to read it until their fuckboy article last week. So yeah, I'm gonna curse. I don't care. I'm too tired not to curse. Yeah, so a white journalist by the name of Annie Levine wrote an article against Chris Smalls. But the day it came out, the title of the article was The Rise and Fall of Narcissist Chris Smalls. So first I was like, this has got to be a joke. Like, and then I was like, a narcissist? That's an actual psychiatric thing, like, you know, in mental health, right? A narcissist. So I'm like, a narcissist. So then I read it. And what it is his book, that his biography that just came out. He dares to critique the Democratic Socialists of America, Bernie, AOC, and the mayor of New York, right? And let me just say, I'm going to tell you how anti-Black male this was and the tropes and stereotypes. It's basically saying he got real famous. He went all over the country. He was able to feed his family. He was in international solidarity. He was at Black Lives Matter things, and he was in Chicago, and that's what labor union leaders don't do. And I'm like, what union leaders from the AFL-CIO, where their president makes $2.1 million a year, SEIU, where their president makes $1.7 million. Without Black and brown people, you wouldn't even have unions, right? So I got tight and I'm reading it, and the whole thing is like one of the parts, she's like, and then he came out of his car and the trees were moving and the lights were on him. And he had on drip. And I'm like, drip? You 70. What, did you just go look at all the hip hop tropes for Black men? And that's the whole thing? Accuses him of stealing money from the union. And then when he was the only one to have the audacity to break into the Met Gala, people who know about the Met Gala, it happens every Monday, the first Monday in May. It's just richness. It's like the billionaire class all the time. But this time, the billionaire class was really right there, and including Jay-Z and Beyonce. And yes, Bad Bunny. So like all the Puerto Ricans that are crying when we critique Bad Bunny, dude was with Jeff Bezos, has a deal with him, and just made a deal with a clothing company that supports Israel. So to all the Boricuas that have been hanging their freedom dreams on Bad Bunny, should never happen, and it's over. And I was like, so as I end this part and get right to Chairman, He broke through the barricade to the Met Gala enough that Bezos and that whole class who was still out heard him. Police tackled him, arrested him, you know, all of that, okay? Apparently, the white woman who has been leading, spearheading these attacks on Chris within the Amazon labor union said, we don't do things by ourselves. He was a lone wolf. I'm like, that's for terrorists. He was a lone wolf. As unions, we want to help rewrite labor law, get people elected, and that's how people need to be within our union ranks. And that's why y'all continue to lose. So unsubscribe. I canceled my membership. Then I ordered 30 books of Chris's biography, where I'm going to go to Arbor Hill, the Black community, this weekend, and I'm going to the mosque and I'm going to the bodega and I'm going to hand them out, and I'm going to try to get Chris up here in Albany. So fuck the Jacobin, all you fake ass Democratic Socialists of America, yes, AOC included, who literally will say every word before they say black or brown person, with your Bernie Sanders, who's worth $11 million. And because Chris Smalls can pay his rent, he's completely destroyed, apparently, the labor union movement. The fuck out of here with that shit. So let's get Chairman Fred. Chairman, thank you so much.
Right on. Good to be. Good to be here. Forgive me. I'm riding still on people and hot coffee. So I've been nonstop since I get out this Cook County jail, which we'll talk about in a minute. But
yeah,
good to be here. Good to be here. Good to
no,
be here.
thank you. You know, and the minute I saw you on, I got lit because I was like, it's a lot, you know. But this is why at this moment, like, media is important. But I really encourage, if you work with young people and you don't have a media literacy program, which I'm finding more and more, like youth organizations or even like some nonprofits or organizations. I've done a mass like read in the last year for my dissertation, and most of them do not ever mention media literacy. So then I looked at the Turning Point white racist Republicans on campus and all of that. And I looked at part of their trainings that they do with young people in the summer. And media literacy is the second thing they focus on, right? Because they're liars and spread propaganda and just make up things, and people are believing them. It's not only white people, but all the tools of organizing are important. But if you do not understand the media, if you are not subscribing, not to just your echo chamber, like I tell people, subscribe to what you like, but also subscribe to the thing that's going to make you debate so you could get your argument. Don't get caught up in the echo chamber of yourself. And that's what's happening right now. Everybody's got a podcast, a Substack, all of that. But I think shows like this, where we can see a person and not do like 5-minute snippets and make that the clips of the interview are more important than in the interview, then we're doing something very, very wrong. So Chairman Fred Hampton, look, revolutionary fighter, very funny, as I've gotten to know, as serious as you are. We have laughed a lot. People always like, is he that serious? I'm like, nah, if he was, he wouldn't have survived what he has survived. But coming from your revolutionary birth and doing the work that you're doing, first and foremost, thank you so much, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., for being with me tonight, for being with us tonight. I know you're always running. You're doing such incredible work. First and foremost, just let folks like know how you're doing if they haven't seen you in a minute.
Yes, well, again, honored to be here. And I want to preface.
Oh, you have the free Carmelo. Yes, yes.
Free Carmelo Anthony. So I want to make sure so we keep that case, as well as the Mumia Abu Jamal's and the countless of other political prisoners on our mind. In fact, we say free them all. So I just want to preface with that. My energy is good. I've been ripping and running since, again, coming out the infamous Cook County Jail this past June 3rd. In fact, the background on that, the largest county jail in the country, and this is due to some long-standing attacks that have been waged on myself, in essence, legacy of the Black Panther Party, and legacy of struggle for determination. And I attempt, the struggle to always put things in its correct political context. Everything from the assassinations of Chairman Fred and Defense Captain Mark Clark to just, the everyday situation that we go through as in the colonized community. A lot of times people say, why do you just say police killed your father? Or why you just make it a more simple? We have a saying in the Black Panther Party Cubs is there are no cliff notes in Cub class, and we attempt to heighten heighten addiction, really put in context what's going down, because everything, and I repeat, everything is political. And I know a lot of times we hear those terms, we use those terms of political, we automatically relate to that of partisan political parties, the Democrats, Republicans, so on and so forth. Politics, food, clothing, and shelter, basic survival and lack thereof. Again, survival and lack thereof. Case of Carmelo Anthony is, though he's the face, the deal is self-defense. You know what I'm saying? The black community self-defense is on trial, and state is blatantly reinforcing its position. It's illegal for us to even attempt, you know what I'm saying, to survive, to defend ourselves. And we draw the correlation. The initial name of the Black Panther Party was the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. And so we really had to seize the time with this, you know what I'm saying, really up the ante with this discussion. 'Cause, we just see it personal, subjective, like, well, and engage in just the legal dynamics, not to devalue or negate the legal aspects play a role, but the reality is, again, politics overrides that. Again, put in this correct political context, and we get to win. We get organize the campaign that people from the legal arenas to just everyday masses of people, you know what I'm saying, who may not don't know certain Latin legal terms, to recognize basic dynamics. As late Stephen Biko of the Black Conscious Movement said, we must be able to distinguish intelligence from the ability to articulate. And self-defense is an intelligent act, the will to survive.
Yeah, and let me back up a little for everybody that's just joining us. So our guest tonight is Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. I gonna backtrack a little bit because I was talking about what happened to this young 17-year-old brother in Texas, Carmelo Anthony, that was convicted of murder yesterday and then sentenced to 35 years. And I had asked Chairman, like, because I know he's there, either there, he's going, he's coming back, he is gonna go. And I think that's like a really beautiful thing, that you can do those things and have them from your lens, your analysis, but also recognizing, I mean, the times are always serious. I think my concern is that the economic conditions in this country for our people are so dire. And somebody I was talking to today was like, why isn't everybody in the streets? And I told them, I was like, first of all, like, to be able to do that, you have to have some sort of privilege. And hear me, fam, when I'm saying this, okay? As organizers, community people, as a Panther Cub, as an organizer and all of that, we who are in this ecosystem, we for sure have the privilege to do that. And I was telling them, I was like, it's not that people don't want to be out there, is that the economic condition in this country is the worst it's been in, they say, 150 years, right? And we have to just sometimes take a step back and not judge people, but also don't think that if people are not out there yelling at a building, they're not organizing in the community. Right? So like, you come from all those levels of organizing, and it's like, we don't know what brothers and sisters are saying in the bodega, but I'm sure pretty much around the country, Black and brown sentiment is like, this is what Texas does. This is what this country does. And this harkens back literally to being enslaved and now kidnapping a young man that he died if he had not defended himself in his state. That's all about defending yourself, right? So I think people have to understand like the seriousness of this case. But so, you've been following it. You've been going around the country as you always do. The Hampton House, I haven't seen it in a couple years. I gotta go. I know it's beautiful. But we were supposed to have this interview last week, and you were in court on a case. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's great. And you said, talk to you later. And I was like, right. And then I was like, oh, I'm not hearing. Okay, there's something happened. And then you were like, yeah, this happened. Like at 2 a.m. you were like, I was in court and then they arrested me for something. that I didn't even know.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is insane. Right. So then, of course, I'm worried. And I just said to myself, man, no matter how much they always say not to forget, we have to remind ourselves not to forget. And in this, from the minute you were a child in your mother's womb to last week, and probably for the rest of your life, you're dealing with the state that doesn't want you here. You're dealing with people working for the state that don't want you here. So, can you just break down, like, you were here for one thing, you were answering that, and then what happened in
Great.
court
Yeah.
that
And 2 points if I can. The formal, the initial, I just want humbling in regards to organizing resource question. And in fact, one of my fellow Central Committee members, our Field Marshal Tohar, he always says, Chairman, sometimes you make it look, we make it look easy. People think it's easy. It is humbling in regards to, like sometimes people see like even our predecessors, the Black Panther Party, people may see the leather jackets and berets, and they romanticize revolution. They don't see like I always talk about the apartment my mother, comrade and Chairman Fred stayed in. There was no hot running water there. In fact, they would have to go down the street to Lieutenant Barbara Sankey, who's over the finance cadre. Her house to take some things a hot shower, but that's sacrifice. And even the organizers, I lay out like points of the repression, the conditions, it forces more of the people, the role that they play. I give examples like the late James Amos, who played James Evans on Good Times. His grandparents' home in Gary, Indiana, was a layover for the Garveyites, a place where people can stop on the road. I want to definitely commend. I mean, just left in the last 6, 7 days. I've been in a number of places, and people may watch me on Instagram live. Oh, that's good. New Orleans, he's in. The people. I've been in places on one-way tickets. I didn't know how I was going to get back, but the people. I'm from Cook County Jail to New Orleans to give the funeral service for one of our leadership, our section leader, Chewy Clark, who just passed. Then bounced to Mississippi, another comrade, Young Bleed, who was a member of the Black Panther Party Cubs. Dude, you know what I'm saying? Moving this, but having faith in the people and confidence in the community. And that's the type of revolutionary climate we have to have. What our most important resources is the people, and not to negate that we don't say we do need support. That's we do
absolutely, yep,
need to be assisted, but also a climate where people recognize significance of saying how they say like in any warfare, support your troops. To the case at hand that I'm dealing with, with there's some people say more money, more problems. Not we say more progress, problems. The campaign in regards to not only saving and maintaining the Hampton House, also just even doing damage control by so much misinformation that has been put out by the Black Panther Party, as well as the present day such organizations, the Black Panther Party, now. Constant attack. And then once we gain some ground, some people say, well, let's get comfortable and celebrate. The deal is we have to put our guards up extra. They have been continuously sending agent vacateurs, counterfeit groups, you know what I'm saying? To say, okay, this is kind of like the legacy. This is kind of like, and a lot of people engage in liberalism. They will say, well, it doesn't make a difference. We all want to go to the same place. We all doing the same thing. But it comes some point in time, and like the conscience has to be heightened. Say, no, different people have different interests. And that dynamic of self-determination is something that the state would utilize all its resources to damage the people's struggle for self-determination in our history, our legacy. I've been basically this last case. We use this term, the face of the case. Again, the face of the case, because in many instances, whether it be assassinations, whether it be people getting trumped up charges, whether it be not many cases, you see the George Sams that was used, the government used in who had mental illness, they have them going from place to place to justify raiding Black Panther Party headquarters. You have even that. Fast forward to the case of Nipsey Hussle. Say those they had, some other individual may pull the trigger, but who really is responsible for that? Again, the state. The face of this particular case is a Layla Mills who we're still being brought up to date about, the past resume. in regards to different organizations and that this individual has been deployed to and has created havoc in one way or another. And this
So you're talking. If I think people need to know, like, obviously the individual, but this has been going on for what, more than 2 to 3 years, right? Or maybe a little longer than that.
another, and you know what I'm saying? Because
Chairman, you got to stay close to the mic, or we keep. Yeah,
one way or another, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? We are document when we see the individual. We still find out how long this has been going on, but at a minimum of 3 years. That this individual, came around us, saying they want to assist with some work. Although the Hampton House was technically saved already, we had got the landmark status, and many people they would come around and say they want to assist it. And this individual was individual Layla Wills was one of the individuals. And I mean, through the door, we were getting phone calls from other individuals, other organizations. People saying, "Hey, heads up, be cautious." You know what I'm saying? 'Cause check the resume of different people. And sometimes I kind of get engaged in idealism. We say, "Well, we want to open the door for people to engage in this process." Like the struggle for self determination is a cleansing process. I've seen the before and after getting involved in the struggle. I attempted to deny no one from this. So it was question about the resume. They was 1 minute they were saying who they were, their background, who their parents were, who their relations, so on and so forth. And then case after case, we were seeing red flags. It it came to a point, with the contradictions uh, came to a point with antagonism when there was just straight out work to disrupt and destroy the work that we had thus far in regards to the campaign to save the house. Then elevated to slander, in which we continue to say, okay, in many cases we attempt to say, well, these are personality differences, so on and so forth. However, it's been elevated to the point is what the Black Panther Party would say: differences amongst the people reconcilable. However, difference between the people and the state are irreconcilable. There are certain lines that are crossed. You say, wait a minute, this is a different arena here now. So some people like, there are always going to be contradictions, within organizations and families, within communities. You're going to always have differences. But then there are certain lines you say, wait a minute, you're talking this here is a different degree. And once we start recognizing that different degree, we say, wait a minute, this heads up on this. And that was an attempt to, a minimum co-op, to co-op in regards to the legacy of the Black Panther Party. And then fast forward with the state dynamic, because many people have I guess a base or a elementary assessment. They say, well, you talking about the state, what do you mean the state? But not just the police, the government, police in uniform, but the apparatuses, the media, because everything is political. The media, how do you report a situation? And fast forward to the I was issued after we had the landmark, there was an attempt to these other entities with this face, lay the wheels to have landmarks. And some people say, well, that's good, everybody do it. But the deal is when history, the terms and words. In fact, there was a big issue with the statue of Dr. King in the monument in Washington D.C., where Dr. Maya Angelou had raised issue about one word they had changed what Dr. King said. And some people said, well, as long as the speech is up there, but she talked about how that changes the whole sentiment of what he was saying. And once we started noticing different dynamics, once we've seen this individual have movie showings about the Black Panther Party and Chairman Fred and a straight rewrite dynamics, once we've seen the attack on such forces, is the verbal attack and the slander on leadership, on my family. And I'm gonna say that in as objective as I can, because I know some people say, well, maybe this is a personal difference, but it was strategic attacks on the legacy. And then it got to the point. The fast forward to the recent, it got to the point where legally, with the went on social media and said point blank that they have had various law enforcement agencies, to come look for me, and they surrounded the Hampton House, surrounded my mother's house. Man, you were talking about two people who are still reeling from December 4th, 1969, and for someone to openly have the law, the same city, man, surround the house, under the auspices of looking for me. And I got worried about this. So, against legal advice, I went on this court Zoom. People saying, well, Chairman, if you haven't been served You notice you don't have to go on the Zoom. I said, oh, I want to confront this on this court Zoom, and even the courts was like they couldn't see make logic of what was going on. I was issued a court date, and then the same Miss Wills pushed to say that I cannot go to the site of 2337 West, used to be known as Monroe. Now it's officially known, well, we've been called it, but even by the state, they refer to it as Chairman Fred Hampton Way.
Right.
That location where my father, Chairman Fred Hampton, and Defense Captain Mark Clark was assassinated on. We have a court hearing December the 3rd, 2025. When I go there, and I'm not watering this down. There was an assassination attempt on my life at the same location. The mercenaries, people don't say that was placed there, and which I have not even been back to the location since then. The traumatic experience being there, and then find out to add insult to injury, after our attack. They're saying I found out that when I go to court for the trial, people come in from all over the country. Minister Conversation, Pam Africa, and so many others, and Jacob Blake, countless of people. Well, literally, my briefcase there. Think I'm finna go to trial. I'm handcuffed and taken in custody, ironically at the same exact police station / courthouse that 50-something years prior.
Wait, you mean when you were just now on June 2nd when you were arrested? Okay, let me back up a little bit. So, her name is Layla Willis. Am I?
Wills or Willis? Sometimes I get it confused.
Okay. People, go check yourself Instagram. She's also known here in or was known around cases, particularly that she was right about Puffy and Africa Bambaataa, that have to do with the Universal Hip Hop Museum. So you might see certain things, and then okay, so then her dad was a Panther as well.
That's
or maybe not.
I don't. That's what she states.
Yeah.
Their encounters with Chairman Fred, she said he never met Chairman Fred. And man, then that position they supposed to came in 1972 or something. Again, it's very ambiguous about this individual.
Yeah, I was looking for that, and that is ambiguous. So you're talking about 3 years, maybe, but I think less than maybe a year and a half ago, she posted a picture of you and her. You had invited her to the house. Y'all talked, she posted it, okay. And then life is happening, and she turns on you, but like you said, got the state involved. So that's what Chairman was saying about the state being involved, and then extra harassment, all of that stuff. So December 2025, you go to the hearing on Zoom, right? By then, had she taken out, or does it exist? She said an order of protection against you. Because this is what begins this, right?
Yes.
She takes out this order of protection against you, and then December 3rd, 2025, and then build from there. That goes to last week when you were again for a hearing, but were immediately detained and arrested.
Yes. Taken in, and I want to add this also. Initially, in fact, during the Zoom hearing, one of her main positions was pushing that I was not Fred Hampton Jr., that I was not the son of Chairman Fred Hampton. And the court themselves said, wait a minute.
What?
This is the court said, we know who this is. The court team said, and actually, one regardless of who he is, he's in our jurisdiction. If it's actually an issue of a no contact, if it's a security concern, whatever his name is, why would there be a concern? And she blatantly was laying out, no, what's really on trial is not that case of no contact. It's really the case of the name, really the case of the legacy of the Black Party. So this has been even this last time when I was detained, when they took me, after they said they're going to handcuff me, she gave her signature snicker when she laughed, and she came back. She said she pushed his name is not. She grabbed an old alias that I used as a juvenile, and somebody said, "Well, why would you in Chicago? Why would you even have to use the alias before?" I say, Me growing up in Chicago, coming in contact with some of the same exact police in my life, you know what I'm saying, pulled over 16, 17 years old. You want to know why I had to use aliens before? So she's pushing this narrative. And
Got
again,
it.
court said, wait, we know who this is. So it took me back behind not the chambers, but so I was handcuffed. And first, at one point, they uncuffed me and said they're about to release me. And then they came back and this is something we're still researching now. They came and said, no, we have to take them in because it's been real touch and go about what particular agencies, like even this, one time there was so many law enforcement surrounding the house, the Hampton house, that many people stopped coming to our survival programs. They thought it was ICE because mind you, this is a time when there was a climax in ICE behavior. I think Bavino, they were doing his tenure of the ICE, and many people stopped coming to the survival programs. They said we thought.
Right.
So there's been question about what particular agencies that she's connected with. And so then they back up to this again back to the court June 2nd. I was released, uncuffed, and was still in the station. And they came, other law enforcement came, they handcuffed me, took me into the infamous Cook County Jail. And I just want, those y'all get word, if y'all hear this, I just want to say, extend my revolutionary love and respect to man, all them brothers and man, sisters, like man, the people who I fortunately and unfortunately in contact with that brief period I was there. I won't forget the conditions. I won't forget the people. And I came right back to the press conference in front of the county jail 2 days ago. A lot of people said, "Why would you go back to that place?" That small period of time I was there, I believe I got a duty to, to further bring light to the horrid, again, a horrid condition. Like people say, well, they're not doing the grading strip searches anymore, but they got the X-ray machines that they running you back and forth through. I don't even want to call it food what they are subjecting the people to. And even though Illinois doesn't have a bail bond anymore, the bureaucratic red tape they have people sitting up in that Cook County jail. If the conditions in the the humane society is right down the street from Cook County, where they keep the dogs and cats and so on and so forth. If those conditions were to exist in humane society, I believe that there will be an uproar from PETA and and a number of other entities. What's happening in infamous Cook County Jail? I heard the beat of the people. I heard the people outside the county jail when they drove me on that bus to 555 West Harrison for the court date. I literally heard the people. I felt the beat of the people, and we were at the court Zoom June 3rd, and that was a classroom. I mean, the questions that in fact, it came out. The judge even asked, "Where was his location, and what did you constitute as a threat?" And it was a political education right there in that courtroom. And
So when they brought you to court the next day, the judge was asking those questions, right?
yes, because the state's attorney kept trying to devalue it to just the technical dynamics. Say, well, this person and had this whole and it's everything that all the slander that was put for me is diametrically opposed to my character. It was like, well, he came to area, and they were given a location, the technical location, and the lawyer, the public defender herself, she laid it. She said at the end, she said, "Where was this?" And that's we had these questions about cases because everything's political. We talk about the cases of Mumia Abu and so many others. Many times, even this case of Carmelo Anthony. They would try to get you caught up in the legal jargon, and back and forth. But they don't want you to ask certain questions. Who are these two individuals that surrounded Carmelo Anthony? Well, what's their history? What's their resume? What's the significance of this location where you told me I'm not to go to? And that to take a position to say that I cannot be at 2337 West Chairman Fred Hampton Way, it can be equated to saying that the children of Dr. King be allowed at the Lorraine Motel, or the children of Malcolm X not be allowed to come to the Audubon Theater. These are sacred spaces, ground zeros for our community, not just for the children, but for the people in general. You know what I'm saying? So this is it was it heightened the contradictions right there.
I mean, I think so. When I read the article on the Chicago Crusader and they break it down, right, and how you're saying it was a political lesson, when me and we were known as the BLM 6, I moved to LA right when Black Lives Matter started happening, and Dr. Melina Abdullah brought me there, and we joined the meetings right away. And the actual first takeover of any highway happened, and I was arrested with the crew. I wasn't supposed to be arrested, but anyway, it shut down the 101 for 4 hours. I mean, it was crazy. I was watching people, I was reporting from the news, and the troopers pulled out guns, and it was younger people. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. And I just could not stay away from the fence. I was like, I know I'm supposed to be reporting, but I can't I can't just watch this shit. So go both ways. Anyway, we got arrested. We ended up going to trial because this is what you also just said, the bureaucracy of it, right? So the East Los Angeles, or the Los Angeles City, the DAs and all that, they spent $2.4 million taking 6 of us to trial for 3 misdemeanors. We were supposed to be there for a week. Jury selection took 16 days. And the judge, luckily, Black sister, Ms. Bourne, Judge Bourne, I'm like, Jason Bourne, all right, we're going to be all right. At one point, had to keep telling the jury, just because you don't agree with Black Lives Matter, you can't use that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're talking about the bureaucracy. So then I'm thinking, why are they spending this much money? Give that money to the community. And then I'm in East LA. So most of everybody in there working was Latinos.
Yes.
That hate themselves. And every day we were there, jury. And I was like, as many times I've been to court, I've never gone through something like that. And I just kept getting agitated, like, this is crazy, this is crazy. And then is what you said, the bureaucracy. It's the restaurant outside and the parking attendant, and then it's the court officers, and then it's the DA, and then it's the judge, and then there's other police people, and then the bus that's coming in and out, and the arraignment and the bail. I'm like, I knew it, but I don't think until people may see it this, and you've seen it before from your previous incarceration, but the level where the judge is like, this shit don't make sense. He's free right now. None of y'all are making sense, which is essentially what happened. And people have to understand, we've always talked about the prison industrial complex, but there's nothing that will ever compare you going, or maybe being a family of someone that sits there for weeks. And then you're just like, we get it, but this is on some level that if this were to end, millions of people, make tens of millions of people in this country would automatically be unemployed.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with you. So the judge then was like, what? You were like, the judge was like, this is wrong.
They called for a release on my own recognizance. However, Wills herself was pushing that I be released under the condition of a GPS monitor placed on me. Hear this, not that the monitor be connected to the state directly, that my movement, a GPS be connected to her. That a GPS monitor my movement be connected directly to her. This has been like
So she could try to prove you were violating something.
not to the state, the police department, to her. This has been like a horror movie without any commercials. I'm talking. I mean, this.
This is crazy, comrade.
That. So we had a whole hearing. Based on that, in which there was no proof, no thought. I mean, no evidence of a threat. I mean, nothing. So now I have a court date to go back June 17th, at 555 West Harrison, and also come back July 7th at Harrison. I can't tell you how much this bureaucracy has impacted the work. I mean, just from the programs, I mean, as I said earlier, some people had stopped coming to the free refrigerator because they was like, well, we don't know if there's ice coming over there, and people from all different walks of life come get the survival, the food and everything, and then the attention given to this and the resources, the time. I'm not going to jive you. I'm not going to. This really has impacted the work, but I cannot thank the people enough. When I got out, the people I'm talking about. I mean, and sometimes it's humbling. I tell people like even now when I was in Africa, I tell people I was not on a vacation. I was on delegation, and there have been some humbling places where I had to stay. But I have no. The people have embraced. We had to go show our respect for some fallen comrades, Chewy Clark, Section Leader Blee, every stop, the coalition with the UEP Newton Gun Club, regional commander, Amina, and other forces. And I just really commend the community. And battle fatigue is for real. Battle fatigue is for real. But again, these last few days, I say within the last 6, 7 days, I have been the isolation. I have been moved. The guards came and get me out of the section of Cook County Jail. They told me, "Sir, we're going to take you to a place that we don't even know exists in here." And soon they came to get me. Other people that was like us say, "Hey, I know who you are. I'm calling the streets, letting them know you here." And I just want to commend the people. And sometimes that can sound cliche. It's like, "Oh yeah, the people," but I mean literally. It was a recharge. It was a reminder. It was a reminder and a recharge. And again, my faith in the people is unwavering. It's unwavering.
Yeah, and good politics says he says or she or they says makes you feel powerless. It's scary. Yeah, I think not powerless as much as it is at any given moment, even with the surveillance state, they could disappear you.
Mm.
Right. Like, so you're there and you're like, what's happening? And then all this commotion. And then you're detained and your people are like, what's going on? You have other people outside, like, what just happened? All I know is that when they take you and that door closes, I don't know what's behind that door. And that to me must be like, even though you have been incarcerated in the past, something about now makes it almost like
That's good point.
there's no fear of them doing any type of reprisal or anything. I was just like,
Good point.
you know,
Good point. I think it's important. I think it's important. Yeah, good point. Let me, because it's imperative to put in context the time we are in. Also, this is an era in time which you say it's like Nixon on steroids. It's a time where the emperor has no clothes, and those who speak in his interest are being disrobed and exposed. Again, this is to put in context this climate where I'm talking about the fangs are open. Not even. I don't think they have a policy. I mean, no more euphemisms up front in the raw. It's a full court press in the NBA terms. It's a full court. It's a full blitz in NFL terms, where you see all over the world. Wherever you, although these countries have been existing in the Congo, Sudan, Palestine, but everywhere. There's a heightening of contradictions, which is terrible, but it's fine because it's more of acknowledgement. But to be inside the infamous Cook County Jail, which has a long resume of not only recent history of the Nicholas Lees and so many others who have quote unquote died in that infamous place. This is the same Cook County Jail where Gil Scott Heron wrote the poems about this place. This is the largest Cook County. This is the largest county jail in the country. They had this place is notorious. We've exposed how 17-year-old girls were forced to rinse out their sanitary napkins for reuse.
mhm.
Exposed the present kind of like they had in Corcoran, California, the gladiator fights. So they had the phones set up where people are forced to. So this period of time, and in that courtroom, I watched people and say, man, this is serious times, and the blatantly at the time. Without it was how the state do this move at this time period. It speaks volumes. It speaks
I
volumes.
mean, somebody just said, like you said, the mask is completely off, and I because of the seriousness of the times, but what's going on internationally, um, yeah, I mean, what can you say when he wants a nuclear war? Or like people kind of try to downplay he's just this, he's just that. I don't worry about him. I'm worrying about all the white boys and the white women who are doing all the extra dirty work. Like when you talk about those conditions in Cook County, right? The conditions at Delaney Hall, the infamous detention center or concentration camp for undocumented people and their families. Because what's coming out now is there have been young girls, I think there may be like 14 or 15 right now, that an organization has been able to confirm. Young girls that have been there for 8 months and about to have babies. So she wasn't pregnant when she got here, and now 8.5 months later, she's pregnant. Who are you going to blame that on? Because they don't get visitors, and for months they've been not being able to get visitors. And then what happened in Jersey, right? Like, here you are in Newark, Delaney Hall. You're telling the governor you can't come in. You already arrested the mayor and 2 congresswomen 9 months ago. And then luckily Ras Baraka exists, but they didn't even let the governor into her own domain. And that's what's happening. It's not quite disappearance because there's some surveillance mechanism, but it's for sure like, we'll hold you down as long as we want. It's going to be on you to try to figure it out. If not, you're going to stay up here. So like, these things are happening, and then you have a completely electoral political system that as none of us should trust at this moment. And what you're saying is the reality of the work. And for someone to then say you're not Fred Hampton Jr., the insanity, but the fact that you have to prove that, that's the insanity. So, as we wrap up, first, how can people support and help you? And second, will you be able to keep us updated as these things happen?
I definitely will. Look forward to it. Our best security is the people. I've been fortunate. I got some people going to tighten up our legal team. We're going to work has to continue. We upcoming campaigns, the annual community club and community caravan down to Chairman Fred's grave site this upcoming Father's Day, so people can support that. We're gonna need that venue. They can go to SaveTheHamptonHouse.org, you know what I'm saying, and hit that. They can hit Chairman Fred Jr. at Gmail via PayPal for that caravan for that move. The work in general, that's still ongoing. I've been going through some. I've been having some criticism. People say, well, just be cool, just sit tight. I beg to differ. I said we got to keep this work has to keep on going. But my legal's gonna be straight. You know what I'm saying? I feel confident with that. I just can't. The people. So the best way to support in essence is our best resource is the people. So even we get the Hampton House Garden. We gonna say people they can come with the garden work. We get the garden right in front of the Hampton House. So all the free community refrigerator, what else support they can do with that. So just the work in general. And also, let me say this, the case of Carmelo Anthony, you know what I'm saying, whatever respect, you know what I'm saying, the work, on the ground, continue to work, and the clarion call to free them all, intensify the campaign for Mumia Abu-Jamal. And I really want to seize the time with any attention on this, to say, okay, this is a template, and I kind of, I'm suffering from survivor's remorse. I feel kind of, I did a day and a half at the Cook County Jail. Check on your loved ones inside that place. Write them, correspond them. You know what I'm saying? Check. And I know people here when you say how the food is sloppy. Well, they don't supposed to get no. It's not fit for a dog. Man, what they doing with the man? So that's matter of fact. If you can't do no direct support with us, support. The work. Your loved ones is held captive. Then get involved, get organized. This case of Carmelo, this young brother. Man, Carmelo Anthony, I keep seeing his face. You know what I'm saying? In the case of self-defense, is on trial. Then with me up with Jamal's and countless of others who are held captive. Free them all. That's my answer. In fact, my first statement when I was released in front of Cook County Jail. Man, free Carmelo Anthony, free Mumia Abu Jamal, free them all. So that's any attention on this here. And also come to our court date, June 17th at 555 West Harrison. We'll keep you updated. We can send the Zoom link. And July 7th at Harrison Kesey. But again, I'm honored and humbled to be a servant of people. But whatever people can do with these those cases I named, and many cases I don't know about, we're trying to be everywhere. And you know what I'm saying, and have our ears to the ground. But again, let's set a climate where it's, you know, so we understand that survival, that self defense, the human right.
Yeah, I mean, every 10 years, there's a young person, a Black or Latino young man, a woman, a trans person that takes the hits for the system. I mean, and that's how the system perpetuates its propaganda and its narrative and its fear. So before I let you go, I mean, you know, our dear elder and revolutionary Chacha Jimenez passed away this past, well, I think maybe November. You probably remember better than I do. Chacha Jimenez, founder of the Young Lords Party, who was a comrade with your father. And when the movie was being filmed, Judas and the Black Messiah, and the couple days I got to go on the set, was when Chacha and you were both there. So for me, what an incredible 2 days. And I'm so blessed I got to just talk to Chacha a lot. And there was this picture, like I sent it to you, where like you're looking at him, he's looking at you while you're watching the scene, that Daniel, and like there's a little misty eyes kind of thing. But can I say that he was a second father or a parent? Was he one of the last of your dad's comrades to see him and Mark Clark alive?
I mean, I've been so fortunate. My walk of life and struggle. Again, I feel so fortunate. I said when I spoke at the funeral services, Chairman Menez and I, even, you know, me and Melissa, his daughter, we in constant dialogue, constant contact. And I said, I think about a lot of situations. I said, wow, there's some bad dynamics, of course. I was charged before what by one of the law enforcement agents, individuals who was involved in surveillance in the subsequent assassination of Chairman Fred, Defendant Lamar Clark. I've been to the same police station Chairman Fred was at. I say, however, let me be clear. Let me balance this out. I've had the fortune. I've had the fortune of some of the same comrades that Chairman Fred had. Just said I mean, I'm flashing back now on discussions we had. I'm flashing back now his birthday celebration.
Oh, it froze up, so hopefully it'll unfreeze. We might have lost Fred. See, fam, this is weird. We were good. Hey, Chairman, can you hear us? I think we lost Chairman Fred, everybody. Yeah, we lost him. In fact, I was about to tell Chairman that Melissa, Chacha's daughter, is sending love. Um, oh,
Okay, can you hear me now?
no, it's
No,
funny
can you hear me?
because, no, you can hear us, right?
Uh, uh,
We can hear you. You can't hear us. We can hear you.
let's see. Can you hear me? No, I can't hear you. Can
We
you hear
can
me?
hear you.
You can't hear me. Okay,
Yes.
let me say that. Okay, I can't hear you. Okay, I was just,
You can't
fortunate,
hear me?
and to be amongst these some of the same comrades. Chairman Cha Menez, ironically, you know, I was asking about the free Carmelo Anthony, and I was checking with some comrades about the shirt, and they were talking about, so what's the significance about the shirt? And they was in the purple in regards to royalty, you know, in the significance of the campaign, and I can't look at purple without thinking about, you know, saying the young lords, can't, you know, saying Chairman Cha Menez, the young lords, and again, I feel fortunate, you know, I distinguish living from existence, I just distinguish revolutionary from reactionary, distinguished liberated from stealing. And again, the Rainbow Coalition continues, the resistance continues, and again, I have been fortunate to have members of the Black Panther Party on our advisory committee and some of the same comrades. I'm flashing back now. The dignity at the revolutionary send-off with Chairman Chacha's funeral, the dignity, I'm flashing back on it now, and just to be able to be there. But even prior to that, the conversations, the dialogue that we had, and the fortunate that his sister, his daughter, listen to the connection. Hey, I'm gonna say this: what Chairman Fred would say. I'm too proletarian, revolutionary, intoxicated to be astronomically intimidated. Right on.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Right on, right on. Revolutionary love. I can't hear y'all. I can't hear you, but I feel you. I feel the beat of the people. Right on. Free them all.
Love you.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Poder a la gente. Revolución es la solución. Free them all. Right on. Y'all know I'm horrible with this technology. How do I end?
I know.
Okay.
Hey, I hope you can hear me. Can you all hear me? So, okay, I'm about to wrap up. Melissa, I think this is Cha-Cha's daughter. Thank you. Thank you for everything. I can't wait to be able to meet you in person and go more and more to Chicago and learn more and more about your father's legacy. Yes, everybody, thank you so much for joining me on Disrupt the Chaos on Black Liberation Media. Everybody on Instagram, I'm always going to rock like this, but please subscribe to Black Liberation Media on YouTube. Consider donating, becoming a donor, and I'll be back next Wednesday. And let's go. I don't know what the points are right now, but I hope we're winning, and then Wu-Tang's performing at the halftime show. So you can follow, thank you, Inmala, thank you so much. You can follow Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. on Instagram, his Facebook page. You can follow the case. There's a lot to the case. It's been building for years, as he was saying. Please support CarmeloAnthony.net. Unfortunately, all the money raised is being held hostage by GoFundMe after a bunch of Texas people, whatever, do what they do. He's a 17-year-old boy who was defending himself, who just got sentenced to 35 years, So, this is how things go in this country. It's just, as everybody's saying, it's very naked violence, and it's all the masks are off. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, follow me on Black Puerto Rican PhD on Instagram, Facebook. Again, subscribe to Black Liberation Media. Look at all the incredible programming that is happening. And most of it really centers movement organizing folks, but the politics of Black and Brown liberation. I'll see y'all next week. Let's go Knicks. The Knicks will win in Texas, and then they got to be right the F out of Texas. All right. Peace, everybody. Have a good week.